Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of The Garden Girl. You're watching this and it is August. I know how much fun everybody's been having because I've been getting phone calls and emails and Facebook messages, which it's great. Even if I don't answer the phone, you guys know, just leave me a voicemail. I will get to it. Regardless of the shop being closed, I always return my calls. So keep them coming. Because of that, today we're gonna touch base on kind of a mishmash of things that have come up and people that have had questions on stuff. So we're going to give you a fun little project to do and go over a few things that you should be getting into now. So stay tuned, grab your pen and paper as always, and something to drink because it's still hot out. And we'll be right back.
For fastidious librarian Emily Skinner, each day was fueled by thorough preparation for events to come. Well, somewhere along the way, Emily went right on living. But you see, with the help of her Raymond James financial advisor, she had planned for every eventuality, which meant she continued to have the means to live on, even at the ripe old age of 187. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
For clean air you can breathe in a clean-looking home exterior, Ultra Clean. Locally owned and operated, offers both air duct cleaning and pressure washing for your home. Give them a call at 330-243-3996 to help clean up the air you and your family breathe and your home's outside appearance.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Of course I'm all smiles. It is that time of year where, I know a lot of you guys are having your veggies come on, canning fruits already, and things are getting harvested. So what I want to jump into, I know if you remember last fall, we had that episode with Tammy and we gave you the cutting challenge. Remember to go out and cut some mint, cut some sedum, and give it a try. One of the things that I did this year, because plants do get old, mums are one of them. I've had my giant yellow quill mum that I absolutely love, but it's getting old, woody, old, bleh. So I did some cuttings. I already have some of them planted out back, which we'll get to that stage of them. But I wanted to show you how I did a cutting. There's two little plants. And on the next episode, you're gonna watch me plant them if they're not already planted, but you can see the size they are now. These started out from very small, just like we did before. And I'm gonna do it again here because it's fresh, new growth. I know, isn't that horrible? I'm pinching off this tiny little thing, but we have all this new growth on here. So all I'm gonna do again is take these bottom leaves, because I'm gonna make some more. And I'm gonna pinch off any little buds that it's trying to set. And I will stick it right in the soil. That's it. Because that's all that was done with these two and the two that you're gonna see out back. I mean, it really is that simple. Give it light. What I did with these guys, mums like their light, but when you're trying to get roots on them and stuff, and the heat that we've had and the intensity of the sun, just keep them moist. Not sopping wet, but you got to keep them moist so that when they start setting roots, they're there for them. That water's there for them to uptake. They will wilt. Initially, they'll wilt. You may lose some, you may not. I lost one out of the three little ones I pinched off and did. These are my two left. But these have a nice root system on them, so they'll go out and get planted now. And that's kind of what you do. You're going to leave this guy go until he gets, I know these still seem small, but they're big enough, they'll live. If you think about your seeds that reseed themselves, like your alyssum, your snapdragons, people that have stuff that reseeds, hey, It sits all winter. Those seeds sit all winter in Mother Nature. So it's okay. You can go ahead and get them in the ground. Again, my other thing is with this heat, like I've said before, you know, you can transplant, you can do what you want, but you need to stay on top of it. I mean, you definitely don't want to embark on this if you're heading out for a vacation, which we're going to kind of get into that on the last segment. But this is an easy way if you do have some mums or some different things that you want to try it. So what, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but give it a try. It will with your hardy mums, I do know that. You're just gonna take your tips, stick them just like I did, keep them watered, keep them in, you know, I know that full sun's a good thing for them too when it comes to mums. I actually cut mine back a little bit just because of the intensity. Now, once they got the roots and really started growing, then I shoved them out more and gave them more. How much sun? I was only giving mine like 6. And I just didn't want to stress them until they got a good root system on them. But now they're fine. So now they just sit out in the sun from sun up to sundown pretty much, and I just keep them watered and feed them. The other little fun project, I know a lot of you guys have lavender. And if you don't, you should. And it's fine. If you can't find it, I'll have it at my shop this fall. I'm a big proponent for lavender only because it is just excellent. And the deer don't like it. And the rabbits don't bother it because it's smelly. So it works great. You can kind of see here, I have just nothing fancy. I went out and cut my lavender here this morning. Now this will just hang in the garage, or I don't know, I might hang it out here, who knows. I like it when the wind blows when I go in the door and I can smell it. But I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna give it a couple days to dry, and then I got these cute little bags. They come in all different colors. You can use cheesecloth. You can even use material if you like a certain pattern and you want to do them for gifts. But what I'll do is lay out a paper towel when these are dry. And I'm literally just going to take a stem like this and just strip it. I mean, just literally, you can see how easy they push off, although this one's not dry. So like I said, I'm gonna let them dry normally. But you strip it, take your paper towel. I fold my paper towel up to make like a little funnel. I either make Andrew or somebody, or try to myself, keep it open, and then just funnel it right in. Pull them tight, seal them up, boom. Throw them right in your drawer. It's awesome. It's a great use. You're getting another use out of your lavender. This particular lavender, I will probably never plant another lavender in my life. I love the Hidcote. I love the Munstead. They've been around forever. They're awesome. This is one that my buddy Lloyd Travern bred. It's called Phenomenal, and I think that name suits it well because it's pretty freaking phenomenal. The hardiness, the earliness of the blooming, and just the amount of blooms, vibrant color, great pollinator. Bees love it. And again, remember, if you didn't watch the bee episode, go watch it because there's no need to be scared of bees. But thanks Lloyd for breeding this and carrying this. Hopefully I can grow it next year. But it's just probably hands down the best lavender, and across the board, a lot of us industry people really, really like it. I mean, it's a big plant. You need to give it a lot of room. But boy, is it's really phenomenal. So thanks, Lloyd. So hopefully that gives you a little project to do. So now you got 2. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're gonna get into some of these tomato issues that everybody's been calling and emailing, and I've been trying to handle on my Facebook page. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, so you're seeing some little glasses, pill bottles, this kind of thing. I know that everybody has their tomatoes that are starting to come on and ripen. And I know a lot of you guys have really, like myself, really like the heirlooms. And heirlooms are something we can save seeds on. And you guys know from either the previous episode or some of my workshops, how to start seeds now. Okay, so how exactly are we going to save these tomato seeds? Well, unfortunately, this is August. It is not county fair time. So sad to say, in this is a 3.4 pound tomato, a Hirschberger, that came ripe too soon. So Dad just this morning scooped all the seeds out. Unfortunately, it's already in the freezer. So I told him we've got to save the seeds. Again, if you're trying to grow big ones, you've got to get the seeds saved on your biggest ones or ones that you like. If you're seeing a particular heirloom variety and a plant that's really producing some nice fruits that are what you think are perfect or what you'd like to have next year, those are the ones that even when you're going to can or cut up or something, I'm going to show you how to save the seeds. You can see Dad just put this in a pill bottle. So at this point, we're going to dump the seeds in here. I'm going to add some water. And this is going to go in the house and set in my, in my windowsill. Okay, so how long is it going to set for? You know, one, they have to be taken out of a ripe tomato. You can't do it on green. You can't do it on rotted. You know, when you pull that plant and it's ripe and you're eating it, fully ripe plant, that's when you pull them. Now, what I'll do for the next couple days here is I'm going to stir this. And you're going to see a foam, like you only need to stir it once a day. You'll see a foam like get across the top. It's kind of a fermentation, technically. Because there's gel in these tomatoes, there's a gel that will cover the seed. I like to do it this way so that I know that they're viable right off the bat. If I was to just pour these out, say on a paper towel and let them dry, you can do that, but after a few days, there's going to be some that float in here. Now, I know there's some floating now, but a lot of them are stuck to that gel stuff. So this is why you want to give them a day or two, a day at least, and then stir and see what sinks. What's on top, you're going to take like a plastic spoon or a spoon, you're going to scoop it off and dump it. If they're floaters, they're goners, and you're going to waste good soil and time trying to get them started. So the chances of them being a good seed are not good. But that's all I do. I'll just stick that in the windowsill. Once a day I'll stir and I'll skim off the top and then I'll stir it again and see what sinks. Stir, I do that for about 3 days. I start slowly pouring off the water and I will add more water because it will go down, and as I scoop off, I'll add more water to keep getting that gel off so that I have a nice clean seed. I lay them all on a paper towel. Again, in the windowsill, I let them dry. And then I mark, you know, I just use Ziploc bags or pill bottles. I'll probably wash this out and put the seeds right back in there. And and I store them. And then I start them next, end of March, early April. This was out of my giant white cross. Again, if you're dealing with multiple varieties, don't make the mistake I did, label. I'm still not perfect on that, but I really try. So that is the way I like to save the seeds, just because it cuts out the viability. All right, people, issues. What's going on with these tomatoes? What's wrong with these things? This is not a disease. This is something that is physiological. So this is called blossom end rot. And I'm seeing it more this year. Everybody is seeing it more this year than ever. There is a multitude of reasons for it, some of which are not the case. So it's getting chalked up to the extreme heat and stuff, really, unless you're not feeding and you're not watering right. If you're watering inadequately, in other words, if you're coming home and your tomato plants are wilting and then you're rushing in and you're watering, great, but this is the number one cause of it, is up and down watering, wet to dry. And why that is because when this plant's trying to fruit, it's trying to push water, which also pushes the calcium into the fruit. If it is an inadequate supply, this is what you're going to see. 2, coming into calcium. There's a reason, again, I use the tomato tone. They like calcium. Another reason why I use my eggshells. If you're not feeding your tomatoes, or if you just put it on right at the beginning of the season, that's probably the problem. Get out there, find a good vegetable fertilizer that contains calcium, get it on them, and keep the water even. Now, we've done that, and it's still happening. And again, here's some little cherry tomatoes. Some of them don't have it, some of them do. Why did I yank them off? Because guys, this is never going to amount to anything. It will get worse, it will get watery. They are not usable. You are better off the minute you check yours, when you water, that's a good time to check as you're watering. Check them, pull them. If you even see one little water-soaked spot on the bottom, you're not going to save this half of the tomato, I'm telling you right now. And it usually always happens right at the get-go, like in the first third of their growing. So pull them and feed the darn things. Keep them watered nice and evenly. And that way you can go ahead and prevent this from happening on the others. Now, we do water and we do feed. So if you're sitting back like me going, why? Well, again, this is a physiological, kind of like that cat facing that we talked about that everybody was getting all weird. It's the weather, people. The other last thing to chalk up, I did talk to a few people. The weather is the other thing. It's just been such extreme heat. Some varieties are more susceptible to it while others aren't. Maybe you planted one and you haven't seen it all this year, but maybe you have. So if you have, don't worry, there's nothing you're doing wrong unless you're not watering right and you're not feeding. How much should you be feeding? We're doing every 2 weeks. So we feed every 2 weeks. Now, I mean, we've got obviously 3.4 pound tomatoes and there's a ton of 2-pounders out there. These want food. They're like the little shop of horrors, feed me, So we're going out there every 2 weeks and feeding with our tomato tone. And we probably will up some nitrogen too here now on some of my giant ones. But, so don't feel bad. You're not failing. If this is your first year at tomatoes, it happens. It happens. So you just toss and move on. Simple as that. So stay tuned. When we come back, I'm going to show you something I did, and it's a big blooper, but I'm going to show you something that I purposely did so I could show you guys, some of you newbies, how to do some different things with your containers and your hanging plants. Stay tuned. Be right back.
For clean air you can breathe in a clean looking home exterior, Ultra Clean. Locally owned and operated, offers both air duct cleaning and pressure washing for your home. Give them a call at 330-243-3996 to help clean up the air you and your family breathe and your home's outside appearance.
For fastidious librarian Emily Skinner, each day was fueled by thorough preparation for events to come. Well, somewhere along the way, Emily went right on living. But you see, with the help of her Raymond James financial advisor, she had planned for every eventuality, which meant she continued to have the means to live on, even at the ripe old age of 187. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, so it's August. I know if you're like me, a lot of us are heading on last minute vacations before school starts and everything. And a lot of you guys are busy. It's back to school time, all this stuff, football, blah, blah, sports. So if you're looking at this plant, by the way, this killed me to let this thing go like this, but I did, because I know some of you guys have been sending me pictures going, I don't know what to do. It just happened in a matter of 3 weeks. And well, that's what's going to happen. You know, if you let these go with the way they've been growing and you've actually been feeding them, you know, this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And so this is kind of my, like I said, it killed me to do this, but I did it. But you so ugly. You so ugly, no mama would even like you. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want you guys to pitch this. And if you're like me and you're going away on vacation anyhow for a week, this is a perfect time to do a nice hard cut, because there's a couple reasons. One, a lot of us hort people will keep up with the weather, like long range, what they're predicting for fall. To make a long story short, these are still going to be growing in September. I mean, I know everybody gets in the season for pumpkins and gourds and mums and corn stalks, and that's fine. You can start implementing all that in. But me, myself, I mean, plants cost me money too. They're not free. So, you know, when it comes to my plants, they're going to have to get kind of ugly. I mean, the daylight really has to drop. The temps really have to drop. I'm not saying it has to frost, but you know, temps got to drop to the point where they're really not blooming and really not doing anything. Then I'll go ahead and get a jump and chuck them. But these guys are going to go, I mean, it's the beginning of August. I have a good solid 2 months. Remember when you guys ran around the beginning of May? Oh gosh, I have to have my hanging baskets. I have to put it, the containers, just like myself. Well, you definitely weren't thinking of dumping them 4th of July, were you? No. So again, I've kept these cut back. I've let this go for 3 weeks. Yours may look like this. Now, because I'm leaving on vacation and we have people helping, God love them, our neighbors, to water, I'm going to give this a hard cut back. One, it's going to be way better for the plant. It's going to flush back out more uniform. Two, it's not going to take up as much water. Not as much plant, not as much water. It's like growing a 3-foot tall dwarf tomato versus one of my 10-footers. Big difference in what they're going to uptake. 6-foot tall person eats a lot more than a 5-foot person usually. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to make my lovely neighbor have an easier time watering. And it's also probably going to be pretty by the time I get home. Because once I get this trimmed back, I'm going to hit it with fertilizer before I leave. Give it a nice big drink and a good solid drink with fertilizer. And then he can water as needed while I'm gone. But it's going to make their lives a lot easier. So to do that, you're ensuring not coming home and going, oh my God, they didn't water right, and having dead plants. So what do we do with this guy? Well, if you've got ugly stuff like this hanging, just get in there. What I tell everybody is go in and stand over it and get this length cut off. I mean, nip this thing back so it starts flushing out. And I'm not picky. You know, I know we've had this on a previous episode, but I know some of you guys just will not go to the site and watch them. So all I'm going to do is come in and slowly nip this back to where I've got this thing under control. It's going to take up less. It can flush out while I'm gone. But that's it, you know, and you're thinking, oh gosh, well, you're cutting all that away and yada, yada. It's okay. They're plants. They'll grow. It'll be fine. You know, so all I'm going to do, and you guys are like, no particular place? No. I mean, when you sucker tomatoes and you're doing things like that, there are certain plants that you're going to cut back a certain way. Your mums, stuff like that, when you're notching them back, of course. Petunias, not picky, not real picky. So again, I kind of stand, I try to get this sucker like over me so I can kind of look down. Then again, once I get everything done as far as that goes, like I'm happy with it, and I give it a few spins, and I'm taking some of this off, and you see I'm not in the Bacopa. Let me get into Bacopa. As I've always told you guys, I love Bacopa, but if it gets dry or crappy, cut it off. It will, don't worry about it. It will rebloom. The other thing I will do, that's it, that's all I do. Spin it and win it. Give it a good cut back. Now, once I have it pretty much to where I'm like, all right, this is back under control, you know, then I will go in and fine tune, get any dead out. You know, if I'm seeing any dead in this Bacopa, you know, any broken pieces, I'll lift it up. Anything, yuck, I just trim out, because by the time I get home next week, it'll be pretty. There'll be tons of new growth, everything else, and it'll be pretty. I will also go through, and I know this kills you guys, but this is where I will go through. I will get off all the seed pods and any blooms, any buds, any blooms, I will take off, because this will allow the plant to flush back out a little more uniformly. So, and notice how I'm saying this kind of goes like this. Note to self, if you have a party coming, this is how you kind of time things to be really pretty. Okay, so I hope this helps. I hope this makes you feel more comfortable. I'm going to keep going, so go get your nippers. And what are you still doing watching the TV? Get out there. Get going. Stay tuned, because our next episode, we're finally going to get to the backyard, and I'm going to show you some really neat stuff. So I am really, really excited. Other than that, get your buns outside and get moving on this. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.